What's going on, guys? It's Football Truths here again, and today we got the NFL Power Rankings 2020 Part 2. So if you haven't seen that Part 1, go check that out. I'll put the link in the description. Bottom 16 teams, we'll just get right into it. All right, so here we go. So at number 16, we have the Arizona Cardinals. You might think the Cardinals are a little high on this list, but the Arizona Cardinals got DeAndre Hopkins. He's a game changer. He's a game wrecker. He will transform that offense, and Kyler Murray's stepping into year two. Year two is a huge year for quarterbacks. Usually that's where the biggest growth is. I mean, Carson Wentz is a perfect example. 2016 average, 2017 MVP level. So, I mean, Kyler Murray, if you can take that next step, this offense can be lethal. Kenyon Drake, too, is a great acquisition. And not to mention, I mean, they got Isaiah Simmons on the back end of the defense now. I'm not sure if he's going to play safety or linebacker, but he's going to help that team. And Chandler Jones is just a game wrecker. He's so underrated. He gets 20 sacks almost a year, and people forget to talk about him. So the Cardinals at 16, I think they're on the uprise. They're young, and they'll continue to climb the rankings, I think, as the season goes on. Number 15, we have the Denver Broncos. Broncos in a similar situation as the Arizona Cardinals. The Broncos have one of the best personnels on their offense when you're talking about KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy to complement Courtland Sutton, who's already a great receiver in his own right. And then we got Noah Fant, who's a great tight end too. He's stepping into that second year. We'll see if he can develop even more. And then, Melvin Gordon was a good signing, I think, to add to Philip Lindsay's game already. So that we got that 1-2 punch in the running game, which is just so important to open up that passing game as well. And then their defense, they got a great edge rusher, linebacker, and Alexander Johnson. I mean, and Justin Simmons is also an underrated safety. So I think that they're also in a good spot at number 15. I think that they have a chance at the playoffs. These teams, and the teens, they all have chance at wild cards, I think. Number 14, the Cleveland Browns. You might be surprised that the Browns are here as well. But the Browns have one of the best rosters in the NFL, especially on that offense. And I can't deny the fact. They have OBJ and Jarvis Landry, two receivers right there that go to the Pro Bowl. They got Austin Hooper and David Njoku, two Pro Bowl caliber tight ends. They got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, two Pro Bowl running backs. And then their offensive line, they got Jedrick Wills and they got Jack Conklin to help seal that up. So if any other quarterback was in the system, they'd be a top 5 offense every year. But because Baker Mayfield struggles for no reason, they might not be at number 14 this year. They might disappoint once again. That's kind of a Browns theme here. But we'll see. I mean, they just have so much talent. To not put them in the top 15 would just be stupid in my opinion. Pittsburgh Steelers on number 13. That is kind of a different story. They're actually kind of the opposite of the Browns. They have such a strong defense. They got Minka, TJ Watt, Stephon Tuitt, Cam Hayward, Joe Hayden, just to name a few. It's just so underrated on that defense. They led the league in interceptions and sacks, and they win games with their defense. I mean, they score the most out of any defense, and then Devin Bush is also. I forgot about Devin Bush. He's a great player, and so they have a great defense. The offense is a little stagnant, a little boring, a little slow, but I think they'll get the job done and score enough to win games. Deontay Johnson is stepping into that year 2 as well. And James Conner, he's all right. He's a little average, but they might sign Fournette. We'll see. I think they should, to be honest, but that's another video. Number 12, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings are an interesting pick here because the Minnesota Vikings, they lost Stephon Diggs, and you would think they'd be probably a little lower because he's such a great player, but I liked what they did by trading for Ngakoue. They traded for Yannick Ngakoue, and now they have Daniel Hunter with Yannick Ngakoue. It's just great with Eric Kendricks, one of the best underrated linebackers in the league. That secondary is sus. They have Anthony Harrison, Harrison Smith, two maybe the best safety duo in the league. But I mean, their corners are they're all counting on Mike Hughes to do good this year. So we'll see how the Vikings do. But that offense with Dalvin Cook's a staple, and Irv Smith is coming on to that second year. So we'll see how that offense does. But I think they're a pretty well-rounded team at the moment. Tennessee Titans at number 11. Tennessee Titans, I couldn't put them any higher because I really think that they're going to get figured out this year. I think Derrick Henry makes them one-dimensional because Derrick Henry, I mean, he's great at what he does, but he's not like a he's not gonna win them games every time. He did last year because they weren't ready for him. The defenses are gonna figure them out, especially with Ryan Tannehill. I think he'll get exposed. I think their receiving core is weak. Besides AJ Brown, I think their running game, if Derrick Henry were to go down, would be non-existent. I don't think they have great depth. And their defense is nothing to be like, eye-popping. I mean, they got Dory Jackson, he's solid. They got Harold Landry as the pass rusher. They got Rashaan Evans. Just not a great defense. Kevin Byard is a good safety. But, I don't see anything. I see so many weak points. If Derrick Henry goes down, they have nothing. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I can only put them this high. And trust me, I could have put them a lot lower, I think. Number 10, the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm an Eagles fan myself. I put them in the top 10. I think we're barely top 10. I would have had them higher, but because Brandon Brooks has gone down, and same with Andre Dillard, I'm pretty worried about our offensive line, especially with the Redskins playing them twice a year. That's an easy game until you look at the offensive line and defensive line matchup. I think the Philadelphia Eagles will win games based off of Carson Wentz's performance mainly. I think we really upgraded at the receiver position. Miles Sanders is going to have a breakout year. I can already tell he's a stud. Deshaun Jackson, if he stays healthy, he's a great receiver. He got like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns in his one game last year. So that's pretty impressive for a 32-year-old receiver. Alshon might come back as well later on. I think we have good depth at receiver. Our 2 tight ends are studs, Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, probably the top tight end duo in the league. And O-line is a little sus. D-line is ferocious. It's great. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Malik Jackson, just to name a few, just great. Linebackers, very weak. I mean, I don't know why we never draft linebackers. In secondary, we got Big Play Slay now. I think our secondary will be better. I don't think it'll be great still, but that's my thoughts on the Eagles. All right, so 9 through 4 now. The Buffalo Bills. I didn't even want them to put them this high, but I thought that the defense gets them this high. I think Josh Allen is not the answer. I know people really like Josh Allen. I know he's a great runner and he has a massive arm, but I just don't think he'll develop anymore. And that's just my personal opinion, but we'll have to wait and see. But their defense is great. I mean, Micah Hyde's a great underrated safety/corner. Tre'Davious White's a top 3 corner. And they just play really good team defense. I think they're really disciplined, and that's why the Bills are at number 9. Number 8 is the Cowboys, and it pains me to say, but they're a great team. The Dallas Cowboys, their offense just looks unstoppable right now with CeeDee Lamb as their 3rd receiver, and then they got Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper, Zeke, Dak, good O-line. Their defense is all just not very good, but I just think they're going to score too much for most teams to handle, unfortunately. Number 7, we got the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, again, I don't know if they even belong at 7. They might belong at 9 where the Bills are, or they could belong at 5. Who knows, but I think the Packers have a really good defense. I don't think they had a good offseason, which is why they're only at 7. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be hungry this year. I think he's going to want to really just beat out Jordan Love, just make sure that franchise does not let him go this year. So I think he's going to really ball out. I think he's going to play through injuries. It's unfortunate that he has no help besides Devontae Adams, which is just stupid. But I think their defense is going to help him a lot. And they have no tight ends. So it really comes down to Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams on that offense. So we'll see what the Packers can do. Number 6, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I put them behind the Seahawks and the 49ers because I think the Buccaneers really, it's all speculation. It just depends if Tom Brady can carry or not. They have a really, really good offense. I mean, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, top 10 receivers easily. Possibly even top 8 receivers. Just a great offense. They got O.J. Howard as the tight end. Cameron Brate and also Rob Gronkowski. So they really could run 13 personnel if they really wanted to, and they would like still dominate, I think. Their defense, I think Devin White really is holding it together. Shaq Barrett's a great like steal off of an addition. I mean, just insane production last year. They had like 8 sacks in 3 games, just ridiculous. But I mean that's really it for the Buccaneers. I mean the secondary is not very strong, but we'll see if the Buccaneers can get carried by Tom Brady, the GOAT. So we'll see. Number 5, Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks just win, and it doesn't even matter if you look at their schedule or if you look at their roster. They always win with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson just carries this team year in and year out. I don't know how he does it. I mean, DK Metcalf is great. He's going to develop. Tyler Lockett's pretty good. Chris Carson's good running back. The O-line's always been pretty bad, to be honest. And the defense won't be very good this year. Besides, I mean, they added Jamal Adams, but the D-line is horrible. And the linebacking unit, besides Bobby Wagner, is all right. So we'll see. And the secondary is just not that good besides the acquisition of Jamal Adams. So, I mean, we'll see. But I just think Russell Wilson just wins games by himself. It's ridiculous. One of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. San Francisco 49ers, number 4. 49ers, I mean, to explain the 49ers, their defense is, like, ridiculously good playing together. Probably one of the best defenses at just, like, playing good team defense. Got Quan Alexander, they got Jaquiski Tartt, Nick Bosa, added Javon Kinlaw this year, Solomon Thomas on the other side. Hopefully he can develop into something more. Richard Sherman. It's just like great defense. Their offense too is nothing to slouch at. I just think they have a lot of injuries on offense, which is why they're only at 4 and they're not higher. I think their defense though gets them all the way to 4. So top 3. Number 3 we have the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, I think, will be really good this year. I think Emmanuel Sanders is such an underrated signing. That's exactly what they needed. Michael Thomas, he can't carry this entire offense. Kamara was hurt last year. I think he'll be a lot better this year. He'll return to his old self. And Drew Brees, I think, he's ready to win. He's ready to go. I mean, he hasn't won the Super Bowl since I was like 8. So it's been a while. So Drew Brees is hungry for that next win, and we'll see. I mean, it's been a while. Number 2, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, I could see them beating out the Chiefs. And the reason why is they're so iffy. But if Lamar Jackson can just work on his accuracy a little bit more and his poise during the playoffs, I mean, they're the better team, in my opinion. I mean, they play amazing team defense. I mean, they've got studs in their secondary everywhere. Their linebackers, their D-line, just everywhere is like just no weak points. And their offense, I think Hollywood Brown is really going to make a big jump this year too. And Mark Andrews is also just such an underrated tight end in the league. He's top 5 in my opinion. And Lamar Jackson, I mean, he's another animal. I mean, if he could just work on his passing a little bit more and keep developing, he's going to be like all pro easily. I mean, he's already like all pro. He might go to the Hall of Fame at that point. I mean, he's the best rusher we've ever seen. He's a great player. And at number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. I have to put the Chiefs here because they're Super Bowl defending champs. They didn't lose anything. They somehow are spending all this money, and like I don't know where they get it from, to be honest. But they got Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a great running back out of LSU. They got Mahomes. I mean, their O-line is pretty solid with Mitchell Schwartz. And then their defense, I mean, they got Tyrann Mathieu, who really turned that thing around. Chris Jones, Frank Clark, just star-studded really everywhere. It's just a really good, solid team. I think Patrick Mahomes we saw it in the playoffs last year. I mean, against the Titans. I mean, the Texans. I mean, 28-3. They came back within like the half. I mean, it was just absurd. Like how many points they can score and how quickly. I mean, they got Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. Perfect duo together. They're just unstoppable. No one has stopped them in years. The difference between the Ravens is they had 1 year of just like greatness, like domination on offense. Kansas City have done this for two now. So, I mean, and Mahomes had a down year last year somehow with only like 4,000 yards after being injured or something. It was just ridiculous. So, we'll see if he can get to that MVP 5,050 touchdown mark. So, we'll see about that. But, Kansas City Chiefs are number 1 this year. Let me know down in the comments what team was too high, what team was too low, what your favorite team is, or if you agree with the list. Really just have a debate or whatever. I would love to talk about that. And other than that, this is Football Truths, and peace out, guys.